If you've been involved in motorsport for a while, you'll be familiar with gold books, blue books, yearbooks, whatever you want to call them. But for 2025, there's some changes afoot. I'm joined by Dan Ashton, Motorsport UK Clerk, race director for the Kart Championship, to take us through the changes in 2025, primarily around the national competition rules, or NCRs as we're going to call them. Dan, welcome. Thank you for joining me. To start off, tell us a little bit about what the NCRs are.
So the NCRs, the national competition rules, are the new rules, the rules and regulations of all British motorsport. It's basically replacing the blue book. It's more in line. The national competition rules are more in line with, and it's a lot easier to use than the blue book. And it's all online as well, which is obviously the way we're all going. It's a lot easier. You can access it on your phone, on your tablet, wherever you are. So it's a lot more in line with the sport, which is a lot better.
So the gold book, the yearbook, that will stay.
Correct.
But we're going to have NCRs now, which is going to make things a little bit easier for people to understand.
Correct. Whereas, over the years, the blue book's been around for many, many years. Regulations have changed, different bits and pieces. This regulation then went to a different regulation, whereas now in the NCRs, everything is going to be in line with karting. All the karting regulations are all together. But yeah, the karting yearbook, the gold book as everybody knows it in the paddocks, is remaining the same. It's still going to be a gold book, but again, that's just accessible online.
So these definitive rules, that's going to cover penalties, it will cover racing conduct as well as regulations.
Correct, yeah. All the on-track stuff, potentially off-track stuff as well, and obviously all your scrutineering stuff as well.
So we've had these books for so long. Why the change?
I think Motorsport UK just wanted, again, just to get more in line and more streamlined, I think is the word, with the modern era. So again, the regulations went different bits and pieces in the blue book, whereas the national competition rules that's the regulation, that's it. You're not, diversing over different sides of the book, if you like.
Yeah, so overall, in terms of no real changes, there was nothing wrong with the original system.
No.
It's all about streamlining things, making things a little bit easier for people to understand, particularly those coming into the sport as well.
100%. I think it's going to help a lot of the novices for sure that are coming into the sport. They get a book sent in the post and they think, are all these regulations for us? Whereas online, you can click karting. It's all hyperlinked as well, so you can click your karting and you can select all the karting regulations.
So to use a motorsport, this is more of an upgrade then, rather than a complete revolution.
It's not a bad way of putting it. Yeah, for sure.
Wonderful. So let's get down into how this is going to affect our drivers in the Kart Championship. What are they going to learn from this new set of rules?
Nothing's necessarily changed from the driver's point of view. Majority of the regulations are the same, for sure, as it did with the blue book. There was different changes throughout the year, which was always done through the committees with Motorsport UK and republished, if you like. So there's nothing really different for the drivers. It's just, again, the fact that it's more streamlined and it's easier for them to understand.
That's clearer. So we've got in there, it'll cover your terminology we spoke about. That's the change. Effectively, The book is gone. It's going to be NCRs now.
Correct.
We've got all the event regulations are now going to be official documents.
Correct.
So they'll be in there. Penalty and appeal, the process will be outlined a little bit clearer, I believe, which is good, along with your license and eligibility as well. So in simple, if you're a driver, you're racing, now it's going to be all about these NCRs rather than a blue book, is basically what we're saying.
Correct. The one thing as well that there's with the blue book, for example, C115, which is a driving standards regulation, it's still there. The regulation still exists. However, it's not going to be C115 anymore. You'll get chapter, appendix. So it'd be worded a little bit differently in the book and on the sheets. However, on the penalty sheets.
So the things that drivers want to know about, basically, scrutineering and penalties. The important things, not the on-track action. The stuff that it can catch people out. It is part of motorsport as well. The process largely the same, I'm guessing, but similar. What we spoke about, a clearer process.
Correct. It just makes it clearer again for the people that are coming into the sport.
In terms of that, and it's something I'm not overly familiar with because I'm normally off away doing other things, but appeals processes, that sort of thing, points, what's the process with that?
caught me out. Again, it'll be in the NCRs. It's a lot clearer. It's pretty similar to what it was last year.
Am I right in thinking that some penalties now come with an automatic?
Correct. There's some penalty.
Basically a clearly defined. I would say punishment, but it's, a clearly defined route.
There's penalty points that are available to be added to the driver's
license. Which I think is going to make things a little bit tidier, because it means that things are less open to interpretation.
We hope.
Yeah, that's the point anyway. Well, you're the one giving them down, no pressure or anything like that.
I hope.
So that all remains the same. Appeals process, if we need to go down that route, a little bit more structured, I believe. Yeah,
it's all going to be structured, and again, easy to understand, because the blue book, as good as it was sometimes difficult to understand when it went different ways. But again, with the NCRs, it's so simple, all hyperlinked. You can click on it and it's done.
Good. So, what do we need to know in terms of when is this getting a proper rollout? Into when are people going to find out, where can they go and get everything from?
It's all out now. So the NCRs are obviously out for 2025. On the Motorsport UK website, on the resource centre, right at the top of there, you can get your NCRs and the yearbook. My advice would be to download your NCRs before each event, because again, if it's gone through different committees and there's things that are slightly changed, which will always be in red, that could change. You could download version 5, but 2 months later we're on version 8. So always download that from the first or before your event is my biggest advice.
So what we're saying is, go out and race like you normally race.
Correct.
That there's no change on that side of
hard
things.
And fair.
Hard and fair.
Race hard and fair.
But in terms of familiarising yourself with the processes, with how things are going to go going forward for 2025 and onwards, spend a little bit of time before you go to the track for the first time. Correct. To familiarise yourself with the new processes. And hopefully you'll never need them.
Hopefully they'll never need them, but they're there, they're available, quite easy to use. And if anybody's ever stuck, obviously Motorsport UK are very reachable. They've got a specific email address on there as well. If there's any questions, always find one of the officials at the events that you're at, and we're always happy to help.
Wonderful. Before we wrap up, other than hard and fair, any final words to drivers and teams for 2025?
Obviously, good luck for your 2025 in the Kart Championship. We've got some fantastic venues. One of them being where we are this weekend, Paul Fletcher International, which is first time ever being on our calendar, which we're obviously very honoured to be invited and be asked to be here. And yeah, fantastic. Good luck with your 2025 campaign.
Brilliant. Dan, thank you very much for spending the time with me to run through the NCRs for 2025, and hopefully our viewers are more familiar with this going forwards into the season.
Hopefully.